Folks, welcome home. Yet another edition of Cooking with Blondes here at the magnificent Shakers in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So, obviously, Michaela's not actually a blonde by any stretch of the imagination.
I have my moments.
She has her moments, but graciously has decided to come back and play along with us today. We have a major Caribbean Christmas party coming up this weekend, as we do every December. And I think this is our 37th or some crazy thing. So way before you were hatched, we've been doing these things. So we focus on the foods of the Caribbean, which is how we started everything at Shakers, again, 4 decades ago. And one of those things involves the time I spent in Jamaica, and we have our own jerk sauce here. This is Bob-a-loo's, that's me, Jamaican Jerk marinade and sauce. And these things were sold in the retail marketplace, literally not just from coast to coast in the U.S., but even off coast at one point. And they're quite tasty. So you can either come and get it from us here, or you can follow your own jerk recipe if you like, or we can give you ideas on this page how to make your own as well. It's incredibly fun, it's interactive, it smells so good, and every time you have the opportunity to make your own thing, I encourage you to do that. So, not to be slight at all, but this recipe is so incredibly easy. Absolutely everybody, it's like ratatouille, anybody can make this thing. So once you establish your jerk sauce, and we get a batch here, and just look how beautifully viscous that is. Isn't that just gorgeous? It's kind of shimmery and happy, kind of like your lipstick. It's just there and everything else going on. So what I'm going to want to do is put this into a mixing bowl and follow along at home with your own mixing bowl, and just about that much. So we've got about maybe 6 ounces. We're not so particular about the actual weight or the volume in this case because it's all going to be just delicious. What's important is to take these and take each one of these wings and rub it completely so you get in the joints.
There.
Yep, right in there. So sometimes what we would do is we'd cut off the last portion of this. If you are a stickler for that and want to see how that works, I can grab the blade from right over here. And you can whack down, or you can just kind of go through like that yourself. You don't need a tremendous amount of pressure. And there you've got a wing that is without this hoary little tip that really doesn't do any good for anybody, right? So, but we would save these and use these in a pot of water to make a stock out of. So I like to save everything you possibly can. That is, after all, the essence really of cooking and creating things by yourself. So this is part of our Flash in the Pan series, and we call it that because these are all incredibly easy foodstuffs to make. They generally incorporate just 1 or 2 pans or pots, whatever the case might be, and they're fun and easy. And if you don't have a particular ingredient, well, gosh darn it, that's okay. Just roll with what you got. So when you get these things done, we're going to stick them right here.
How's that?
That looks fantastic. There's our Back to the Future Frisbee pie plate. So we're going to be putting these in our oven at about 550 degrees, and these are going to continue forward for the roasting baking process for about 35 to 40 minutes at this temperature. You at home want to make sure you attain at least 185 degrees internal temperature on that, and if you do that at home at 400 degrees, it's going to take you about an hour depending upon how your oven works. So it's important not to overcrowd the pan. So Michaela's got room for probably 2 more in here, and that'll be it. These are a little bit large. Generally, chicken chicken wings are somewhere about 3.5 to 4 ounces each, and these are just a little bit heavier. By the way, there is a chicken shortage in the country as well, which boggles my mind, but it goes along with the grain shortages, the rice shortages, and absolutely everything else that's shortage. Short people, right? So you notice that Michaela has gloves on. It's imperative that when you're using any type of fresh produce, I don't care what kind of bird it is, any kind of fowl whatsoever, you should have gloves on. I like to incorporate that, so poultry, produce, almost anything you have, seafood certainly, gloves are imperative. So real simple, what I'm going to do is move this right over here. Going to flip it almost all the way around, leaving just a little bit open so steam can get out. It's that easy, right? So from here into our oven, and we'll check back in about 30 or 40 minutes or so, and that'll be extraordinary. Now, what Michaela's going to do in the meantime, after she finishes off the marinating process of this, and the marinade is cool. You can do it like this right before you're going to bake them, or you can do it like a day ahead of time as well. Obviously, put them in your cooler, your refrigerator. Don't leave them out overnight. But the interesting thing about jerk is jerk was created in the 1500s, and it was came out of Jamaica, and it was designed to preserve things because there's no refrigeration at that time. So jerk itself is generally composed of cinnamon, allspice, cardamom, molasses, Scotch bonnet chili peppers, and a few other things as well. So aromatics, but they also have a tendency to, again, preserve things. You're going to have a lot of lime juice in here as well, so the acid's going to hit very nicely, and it's really going to extend the flavors. You can use this, again, as a preservative to mask other flavors of maybe not such fresh food. If you're in the 1500s, obviously that's not the case today, so fresh is always the best thing. All right, going to let that go for a moment. Michaela, the last thing I want you to do is to take this lovely little watermelon. I want you to cut it. And like anything else here, just like onions that we do pole to pole, so top to bottom, just take your blade, cut all the way through, and I want you to quarter it. And because we use this on the chicken, let's grab another large blade. Obviously, this woman is very skilled using that knife, so. You're going to say to me, why do this? Well, my answer is that the jerk itself, again, the cinnamon, the allspice, the cardamom, molasses is very savory, and there are some sweet tones that go on there as well, but this really brings everything together. The jerk has a lot of chili inside of it. Scotch bonnet chili peppers, with a jalapeno inside of it, with a cayenne inside of it, a few other chilies that are hot. So to kind of tone that down, a high degree of fruit acid, and of course high in electrolytes as well. Watermelon is extraordinary. It's fresh, it's lovely, it's happy tasting. You've got a couple options now at this point, Michaela. You can just take one section to start off with, and you can just kind of take your knife and kind of follow along. If you want to cut one more time into an eighth, you can do that if that's easier for you. What's most comfortable for you is what I want you to do.
Okay. We'll cut it one more time.
Okay. Now, more accidents happen with dull blades than they do with sharp blades. A sharp blade is going to have less resistance, it's going to cut through, but a knife is sharp, and you can invariably cut yourself if you're not paying attention. So just like throughout these things, we teach people all the time how to hold your product and how to create a little bridgey kind of thing. This is something larger, it's grosser, and you can create a different environment by using different knives. If you like that, you want to use a bony knife, for example, for this, that would be a good choice. Perhaps even a paring knife. But once you're conversing with cooking quite a bit, using a chef's knife, a larger blade, makes all the sense in the world to me. So, okay, any thoughts on this process so far? Pretty darn easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And honest to God, this is incredibly simple. And she's doing a great job with this. So you can literally take these pieces now, if I may. Just take the blade and you can slice them like this. We also used to do
Green only.
to make greens okay. You know, go down the islands, you won't be afraid of green anymore. It's all good. So we used to make a watermelon chutney, which is a simple composition of sugar. I'd like to use cane sugar. So here, if you don't know what it looks like, this is what cane sugar is before you actually extract the sugar from the cane. But I like to use that because it's much different glycemic value as well than commercially available white sugar up here. But sugar and sweet onions and watermelon, and you blend that together, you mulch it up, and that is just extraordinary as this little chutney-esque kind of thing. A little acid in there is good too. I like a little vinegar on there. If you want to use citric acid, that's all good. So we could simply take a plate, any kind of plate. How about this plate? And how about a pair of tongs? And you can arrange these points all around the perimeter here, like so. Well, I get the chicken, and through the magic of television, so these have been baking again for about 45 minutes by us. And this is not burnt. So you're gonna look at this and go, oh my God, it's so black. Well, it's supposed to be, it's jerk, okay? So the other thing is that I wanna be at least 185 degrees or 192 degrees or absolutely perfect. It's very important that you cook your poultry completely because nobody wants to get sick. There's not a outbreak of salmonella taking place in the country at the moment, but all it takes is one haphazard approach to sanitation to create an issue. So, now that you got that, look at how pretty that is. We just serve it that way. My God, that's just gorgeous. So if you don't mind, Michaela, why don't you take your wings and arrange your wings so the exterior of the red and pink is still showing on the outside. And make a little stack. You would have to use all these. Maybe 4 is the right number. So again, you saw that when we put them in the oven with the batch that Michaela had done, we covered it up with aluminum foil, and then before the end, you expose it, take it off, so they crisp up a little bit as well. Now, if you're doing this on the grill, these would be absolutely, look how pretty that is. These would be absolutely extraordinary. And this is a great grilling dish, but it's so easy just to do this. So for years, when I was married, I would make 2 turkeys for Thanksgiving every year, and one of those I would do as a jerk turkey. And I would take, again, my jerk marinade, the Bob-a-loo's jerk, and I'd rub this underneath the skin, and I'd low and slow cook these things. And my in-laws were just beside themselves. This is so flavorful. How did you do this? And then one year I said, well, I used my jerk right here. I said, oh my God, that's terrible. It's Jamaican. We'll never eat that again. Okay, so for years you liked it. The flavors are sublime. It's like anything else in life. Just get into it and taste it and enjoy it. So there we are, folks. I appreciate the fact you took 15 minutes out of your lives to watch us. And I mean, obviously, how could you not watch Michaela do such an extraordinary job with this? Commando Shakers, we have, of course, phenomenal food all the time. The Caribbean Christmas party this weekend. And I'll be here.
I will too. So
there you go.
See you there.
Folks, thank you very much. Be good to yourselves. Cook for the people that you love. Cook for your family. Not always the same people. And really take it upon yourself to create something unique that they'll be talking about. Cheers.